Welcome back. Today Dan and Ezra discuss the Parsha.
There was a Parsha, me cates, last week, but I was eating me cakes!
So read it yourself. Anyway, this week's Parsha is Parshat Vayigash.
During this Parsha, the famine, supposedly foretold in last week's Parsha while I was doing college applications, began to take effect.
Yosef and Paro had prepared for this famine by collecting tons of grain and food to store. So when Yaakov and his sons came down, they were able to feed them.
After revealing who he is to his brothers and his father, Yosef, with Paro's support, gave them the best land in Egypt, the land of Goshen. They became the upper class of Egypt. But what happened to the Egyptians during this famine?
Well, they had to pay Yosef and Paro to buy bread during the famine. Once they ran out of money, they had to trade their livestock for food. But by the second year, they were out of both money and livestock, and the only thing they had left were themselves and their barren land.
They said to Paro, "Take us into our land, and we will become surfers!"
Wait a minute, Ezra. There's no water during the famine. They became serfs, like indentured servants, not surfers.
Oh, that makes so much more sense. Anyway, they said to Paro, "Take us into our land, give us seeds, and we will farm for you, so that we won't die."
Now, the obvious question here is, if they were in a famine, how could they possibly farm this land with those seeds? Well, Rashi explains that it was at this time, the second year of the famine, that Yaakov came down to Egypt. And although the famine did continue outside of Egypt for another 5 years, Yaakov arriving in Egypt brought a blessing that allowed the Nile River to flow.
In this parsha, the Jews were treated like royalty by Paro, and the Egyptians were indentured servants. But look how much the tides will change in 2 weeks from now in Parsha Shemot.
In Shemot, the Jews became the slaves, and many of them worked as domestic slaves for Paro and the Egyptians. Clearly, the situation has switched, and the Jews fell from owning the best land in Egypt to owning nothing.
So what do we learn from this? Well, this is a trend seen throughout all of Jewish history. In Rome, Persia, Spain, Russia, Germany, many Jews were at the top of society before being chased out or cast to the bottom.
In any situation, when it seems we're on top, it's critical to realize that anything could change. We have to stay aware, and we have to prepare for the worst, even if it looks like we're winning.
Bad things could happen at any moment, in any place. Even in America.
Thanks for watching.
Be safe out there!
Shabbat Shalom!